Deadpool and Wolverine is an upcoming American superhero film based on the Marvel Comics characters Deadpool and Wolverine. Produced by Marvel Studios, Maximum Effort, and 21 Laps Entertainment, and distributed by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures. It is intended to be the 34th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe (MCU) and a sequel to Deadpool 2016 and Deadpool 2018. The film is directed by Sean Levy from a screenplay he wrote with Ryan Reynolds, Rhett Reese, Paul Wernick, and Zeb Wells. Reynolds and Hugh Jackman star as Deadpool and Wolverine, respectively, alongside Emma Corrin, Morena Baccarin, Rob Delaney, Leslie Uggams, Karen Sony, and Matthew McFadden. In the film, the Time Variance Authority (TVA) pulled Deadpool from his quiet life and set him on a mission that will change the history of MCU Wolverine. Development on the third Deadpool film began on 20th Century Fox by November 2016, but was placed on hold after the studio was acquired by Disney in March 2019. Control of the character was transferred to Marvel Studios, which began developing a new film with Reynolds. It integrates Deadpool with the MCU and is intended to retain the R rating of the previous films. Wendy Molyneux and Lizzie Molyneux-Lajalin joined in November 2020 as writers. Reese and Wernick returned from the previous films for rewrites by March 2022 when Levy was hired as director. Jackman decided to reprise his role as Wolverine from Fox X-Men in August 2022. Reynolds and Levy were confirmed to be contributing to the script by May 2023. Filming began later that month at Pinewood Studios in England, with additional filming in Norfolk and Bovingdon Film Studios. Production was suspended in July due to the 2023 SAG-AFTRA strike, but resumed that November and wrapped in January 2024. The film was revealed a month later. Deadpool and Wolverine is scheduled to be released in the United States on July 26, 2024 as part of Phase 5 of the MCU. The Time Variance Authority (TVA), a bureaucratic organization that exists outside of the time and space and monitors the timeline, pulled Wade Wilson, Deadpool, from his quiet life and set him on a mission that will change the history of the Marvel Cinematic Universe (MCU) alongside Wolverine. Ryan Reynolds as Wade Wilson, Deadpool, a wisecracking mercenary with accelerated healing but severe scarring over his body after undergoing an experimental regenerative mutation to treat terminal cancer. Rhett Reese described the film as a fish out of the water story for Deadpool, who is lunatic dropped into the very sane world of the Marvel Cinematic Universe (MCU). Reynolds is also expected to portray a samurai-based variant of the character. Hugh Jackman as James Logan Howlett Wolverine, a mutant with healing abilities, retractable claws, and an adamantium-infused skeleton. Jackman described Logan and Deadpool as opposite, with a quarreling dynamic that would frustrate Logan. To prepare for the role, Jackman began a vigorous workout routine, included eating up to 8,000 calories a day. Jackman also appears as the character's alter ego, Patch. Emma Corrin as Cassandra Nova, Morena Baccarin as Vanessa, Wilson's fiancée. Baccarin believed the film would further reinvent Vanessa's relationship with Wilson while maintaining a core element that keeps them together. Rob Delaney as Peter, a member of the Wilson X-Force team. Leslie Uggams as Blind AI, Wilson's blind elderly roommate. Karen Sony as Dopiner, a taxi driver and admirer of Wilson who serves as the facto chauffeur. Matthew McFadden as Paradox, a Time Variance Authority TVA agent. Also reprising their roles from the previous Deadpool films are Brianna Hildebrand as Negasonic Teenage Warhead, a teenage member of the X-Men with the mutant power to detonate atomic bursts from her body. Stefan Kapisic as the voice of Colossus, a member of the X-Men with the mutant ability to transform his entire body into organic steel. Shioli Katsuno as Yukio, Negasonic Teenage Warhead's girlfriend and fellow X-Men member. Randall Reeder as Buck and Louis Tan as Shatterstar, a member of X-Force. Some actors also reprised their roles from other 20th Century Fox Marvel films, including Aaron Stanford as John Allardyce, Pyro, a mutant with ability to manipulate fire from the X-Men film series, and Jennifer Gamer as Elektra Nakios, an assassin who wielded a pair of sai from Daredevil 2003 and Elektra 2005. Other characters that appear in the film are Dogpool, a canine variant of Wilson played by dog actor Peggy, and the mutant Sabretooth and Toad. After the success of Deadpool 2016, 20th Century Fox began developing two sequels. The third film was set to include the superhero team X-Force. Deadpool director Tim Miller chose not to return from the sequel due to creative differences with star Ryan Reynolds, and David Leitch was hired to direct Deadpool 2 2018 in November 2016. Fox was looking for another filmmaker to develop the third film. In March 2017, Deadpool and Deadpool 2 co-writer Rhett Reese said X-Force will be introduced in Deadpool 2 and then featured in a planned split-off film that would launch something bigger, separate from the third Deadpool, which would be more personal. When the acquisition of 21st Century Fox by Disney was announced in December 2017, the Walt Disney Company CEO Bob Iger, Reynolds' Deadpool will be integrated with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Despite those films being rated PG-13, Deadpool films being R-rated, Iger said Disney was willing to make R-rated Deadpool as long as we let audiences know what's coming, and suggested a Marvel R brand could be created for characters like Deadpool. In May 2018, Reynolds said a third Deadpool films will not be made given the franchise shift focus to X-Force. Reese and writing partner Paul Wernick felt a third film would absolutely happen after Reynolds took a break from the character and the X-Force film was released. They compared this to the MCU crossover film The Avengers 2012, being released between Iron Man 2 2010 and Iron Man 3 2013. Leitch expressed interest in returning for another Deadpool film depending on the schedule. A third Deadpool film was believed to be in active development by August 2018, with production planned to take place at Atlanta, Georgia, rather than Vancouver, Canada, where the previous films were made. Once Upon a Deadpool, a PG-13 version of Deadpool 2, was released at the end of the year. It was watched carefully by Disney and Marvel Studios to see how it might inform their approach to the character in the MCU. Promoting Once Upon a Deadpool, Reynolds confirmed that a third Deadpool film was in development and said it would go in a completely different direction. Reynolds later revealed that they were planning a road trip film styled after Rashomon 1950, featuring Hugh Jackman X-Men characters James, Logan, Howlett, Wolverine. Jackman had himself envisioned a team-up with Reynolds inspired by 48 Hours 1982 while attending a screening of Deadpool 2016, despite formally retiring from the role of Wolverine at that time. In March 2019, Disney officially acquired Fox and gained the film rights to several Marvel Comics characters for Marvel Studios, including Deadpool and the X-Men. The Marvel-based film that Fox had been developing were placed on hold. Josh Brolin revealed in 2019 that he had discussed his future as Cable, with Marvel Studios several times after starring as a character in Deadpool 2. Brolin also portrayed Thanos in the MCU. In October, Sassy Beats said she would be surprised if she did not reprise her Deadpool 2 role of Domino in the future films. That month, Reese and Wernick said they and Reynolds were taking a much-needed rest from Deadpool while wanted to hear from Marvel Studios about the future of the franchise. They confirmed that another Deadpool films will be made, that it would be R-rated like the previous films, and that it would integrate the character of the MCU. Wernick stated that there was never a set pitch for a third Deadpool films between the exhaustion following the competition of Deadpool 2 and the announcement of Fox acquisition by Disney, with Reese adding that they know had to land on the right idea, and once we do, I think we'll be off to take races. The writer felt there would be more characters available in the MCU to act as foils for Deadpool compared to their restricted options among the characters that Fox had control over the previous films. At that time, Reynolds revealed that he was meeting with the Marvel Studios. In December, Reynolds confirmed that he and the whole team were actively developing a Deadpool film at Marvel Studios. During his meeting with studio, Reynolds urged Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige to include Wolverine in the films, but was told that this would not be possible. Throughout October 2020, Reynolds and Marvel Studios met with potential writers for the next Deadpool films. Wendy Molyneux and Lizzie Molyneux-Lajalin were hired to write the screenplay the next month. Reynolds and Marvel Studio felt the writer pitch was in line with their intention to film, which would remain R-rated. Reynolds and Marvel Studios were open to Leitch returning to the film, but he was not expected due to other comments throughout 2021 and was not involved in hiring writers. Leitch later confirmed that he had met with Marvel for the films, but both parties understood that scheduling and other commitments would prevent him from returning. In January 2021, Feige reaffirmed that the film would have an R rating and would be set in the MCU. Reynolds was supervising the scripting process at that time. Feige said would not be until after 2021 to Reynolds' busy schedule. He said Deadpool was a very different type of characters to have in the MCU. That July, Reynolds and Taika Waititi promoted their film Free Guy 2021 by appearing as Deadpool, Waititi's MCU character Kong, respectively, in a commercial for that film titled Deadpool and Korg React. Deadpool breaks the fourth wall and discussed joining the MCU with Kong in the commercial. The next month, Reynolds said he expected filming began in 2022, which with Feige soon confirmed. Feige added the Marvel Studios had a release time frame in mind to the film. In November, Beats and Rob Delaney expressed interest in returning as their Deadpool 2 characters Domino and Peter, but Beats ultimately did not return for the third film. Also in November, Reynolds said they were plugging away at the film. Sean Levy was revealed to be directing the film in March 2022, having previously directed Reynolds in Free Guy and The Adam Project 2022. Levy said filming would not begin until after 2022 due to his busy schedule through the remainder of the year. At that time, Reynolds confirmed that his production company, Maximum Effort, would co-produce the film, and Reese and Wernick were hired to rewrite the screenplay. The pair said in June that they were excited to use elements of MCU as backdrop for the film, and said Disney and Marvel were supportive of the jokes about the MCU they were writing for Deadpool given the success of the previous films. They would not confirm whether they were starting from scratch on the script or just reworking the previous draft by the Molyneux sisters, and said answering this question could divulge plot details. Also in June, Raymond Chan was revealed to the production designer after previously working on Disney Plus MCU television series The Falcon and the Winter Soldier 2021. Feige said in July that the film will be elevated from the first two in the similar way to other third installment of MCU film series such as Captain America Civil War 2016, Thor Ragnarok 2017, and The Avengers Infinity War 2018. He added that it was fun to be working with Reynolds. After being content with his decision to retire as Wolverine for several years, Jackman had a change of heart in mid-August 2022 and decided a team-up film with Reynolds could be much fun. I'll probably have more fun on that movie than anything I've ever done. He contacted Reynolds about joining the films at the same time that Reynolds was preparing to have a meeting with Feige. Reynolds had continued to entertain the idea himself over the years. He announced in September that Jackman would return as Wolverine for Deadpool, which was set for release on September 6, 2024. Reynolds and Jackman soon clarified that the film would not interfere with events of Logan 2017, in which Wolverine dies, and would take place before that film. This was important to Jackman, who said the character's return would use a narrative device from Marvel Studio that allowed characters to move around timelines. He reacted out to Logan director James Mangold to inform him of the film's story and said Mangold was both enthusiastic about the idea and relieved that Logan would not be interfered with. Pre-production work had begun on October 2022, when filming was expected to begin in January 2023 in Vancouver. Before the film's release date was published back to November 8, 2024, Jackman indicated that the film may not be titled Deadpool 3. Reynolds referred to it as the Deadpool Wolverine film, and Jackman later referred to it as Wolverine and Deadpool. Reynolds said in November that filming will begin just before mid-2023. Levy confirmed in December that filming was set to begin in May 2023. He said developing the film was one of the most fun creative experience of his career. Citing the film's self-awareness, violence, and foul language, Levy said he did not want to alter the franchise DNA from the prior films and called the film raw, audacious, and very much R-rated. Comparing it to the Midnight Run 1988, 48 Hours, and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles 1987. By February 2023, Patrick Stewart, who portrayed Charles Xavier in X-Men film series and reprised the role in the MCU films Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness 2022, had been approached to potentially make an appearance in the film. Later that month, Emma Corrin joined the cast in a lead villain role. Marvel had been considering Corrin for the role since late 2022, but had to work through scheduling issues with their other commitments before they signed on. Corrin was cast after Levy saw their performance in stage production of Virginia Woolf's Orlando. Corrin was excited to play a villain in the film as they had not played many villainous roles before. Levy was revealed to be producing the film alongside Feige and Reynolds. Throughout his production company, Lapse Entertainment, and filming was set to take place in London. X-Men producer Lauren Schaller Donner was also a producer for the film, while Simon Kinberg served as an executive producer after producing previous Deadpool films and some of the X-Men films. Kinberg said the film's creative team cared deeply about Logan, Deadpool, and Wolverine, and said the film had been authored by Levy, Reynolds, and Feige. In March 2023, Jeff Snyder of Above the Line reported that the Time Variance Authority (TVA) Mobius M. Mobius, portrayed by Owen Wilson, and Miss Minute, voiced by Tara Strong, from the MCU television series Loki 2021 to 2023, would be featured in the film. Later that month, Matthew McFadden joined the cast in an undisclosed role, which was described as a third wheel to Deadpool and Wolverine. Karen Sony and Leslie Levy Uggams were set to reprise their roles as Dopefinder and Blind AI from the previous Deadpool films. Zeb Wells was co-writing the script by then. After previously working on MCU miniseries She-Hulk, Attorney at Law 2022 and Marvel Zombies 2024, as well as the film The Marvels 2023. In early April, Morena Baccarin said she was on negotiations to reprise their Deadpool role as Vanessa, and she was confirmed to be cast later that month along with Stefan Kapicic returning to provide the voice of Colossus. The following month, Delaney was confirmed to be reprising his role as Peter from Deadpool 2 when Reynolds and Levy were said to have writing credit in the film. Later in May, Brianna Hildebrand and Shoili Kutsuna were revealed to be reprising their respective roles as Negasonic Teenage Warhead and Yukio. Graham Churchyard and Macy Rubeus serve as costume designer. Jackman wears a yellow and blue costume similar to Wolverine's costume from X-Men, the animated series 1992 to 1997, and the comic books, especially Astonishing X-Men Volume 3, 2004 to 2013, drawn by John Cassaday. It also featured elements of the characters 1970 designed by John Romita Sr. and Dave Cockrum, and the 1990s designed by Jim Lee. Jackman did not wear a comics-accurate costume in the X-Men film series, though it was referenced in X-Men 2000 and a deleted scene from the Wolverine 2013. Levy felt this would be the last chance for Jackman to wear such costume and went through several iterations and fitting to ensure the suit was comic book accurate. An early reveal of the costume was met with positive reaction. Some commentators believe it indicated that Jackman was portraying a different iteration of the character from the X-Men films, such as a live-action adaptation of the animated series or comics version. Reynolds also has an updated costume from the previous Deadpool films, featuring a brighter shades of red and larger black circle on his neck. This reminiscent of the character's comic book design from the 1990s. Levy was pleased with the overwhelmingly positive response to the suit design, which were revealed due to production occurring on location. Principal photography began on May 22, 2023 in London and at Pinewood Studios in Buckinghamshire, England. Under working title Tidal Wave, George Richmond served as a cinematographer after previously working with Levy and Reynolds on Free Guy. Reynolds had lobbied Marvel Studios to film in Vancouver, where he is from, and previously Deadpool films were made, but conceded that they have their established infrastructure and you just have to sort of fall in love. However, a United States Copyright Office filing for the film indicated that some filming did not occur in Vancouver. Filming was not expected to be impacted by the 2023 Writers Guild of America strike. That began in early outside of Reynolds being unable to contribute to the script during filming, as he had done during the previous films. Marvel Studios was reportedly planning to shoot what they could during the principal photography and make any necessary writings adjustment during the film's already scheduled reshoots. Levy worked with Marvel Studios and creative team behind the Netflix series Stranger Things, on which Levy is an executive producer, allow him to direct at least one episode of that series' final season, since he planned scheduled for the two projects were initially expected to overlap. In June, film's release date was moved forward to May 3, 2024. Filming for a car crash scene took place on location in London in early July 2023. Shortly after, Jennifer Garner was revealed to be appearing in the film as Elektra after previously portraying the version of that character in Fox-produced film Daredevil 2023 and its spin-off Elektra 2005. Garner denied her involvement. Filming with Reynolds and Jackman also took place in Norfolk and at Bovingdon Film Studios, with the production team preferring to shoot on location rather than on sound stages where possible to have the film feel grounded and real. One of these locations included a giant 20th Century Fox logo set. Price production was suspended on July 14 because of the 2023 SAG-AFTRA strike. 35 days after filming, which was halfway through production, were completed prior to the shutdown, with an additional 35 days left of principal photography. Filming was set to resume following the conclusion of the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strike. Levy and Reynolds were able to edit what had already been shot and begin work on the visual effects. Though they had not prioritized filming major visual effects sequences before the strike, prior to the strike, Baccarin had completed filming all their scenes, and Levy shot a sequence which he liked to the lightsaber duel between Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader in The Return of the Jedi 1983, inspiring the film's stunt team to look that scene's blocking tempo. The framing to their scenes, Levy said some of the casting rumors surrounding the film were true but others were not, such as Taylor Swift making cameo appearance in Dazzler. Disney paid to keep the film set intact during the strike. The film, along with others that were midway through production at the start of the strike, was said to be a top priority for the studios to resume production upon the conclusion of the SAG-AFTRA strike. In October 2023, Levy questioned if the film would be able to retain its May 2024 release date given the SAG-AFTRA strike was still ongoing at that time. Shortly before, it was reported that the film was likely to be delayed to a date later in 2024, even if filming was able to resume by the start of that year. Levy said that the film was still untitled and they were discussing options for a title, nothing that he had at that time referred to it as Deadpool versus Wolverine. Deadpool and Wolverine and Deadpool 3 with Wolverine. After the conclusion of SAG-AFTRA strike on November 9, filming was expected to resume in London within the following 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. Reynolds announced that the character Dogbull would appear in the film, played by a dog actor Peggy, and the film's release date was published back to July 26, 2024. Filming resumed by November 2023. In early December, photos revealed that the characters Sabretooth and Toad were appearing in the film. The photos of Sabretooth resembled Tyler Mane, who portrayed the character in X-Men, and Toad was also similar to his X-Men appearance. Reynolds commented shortly after the set photo leaks, saying they created difficult situation for the production and was hopeful that websites would stop publishing unfinished, out-of-context leaked images to preserve as much of that magic as possible for the finished film and big screen. He noted that the franchise is associated with leaks since the first film was able to made following a leak of its original test footage, and proceeded to post Fox leaked images featuring Mickey Mouse, Predator, and Steve Urkel, along with various hashtags to try to alter the social media algorithm around the actual leaked photos, since platforms prioritize posts from high-profile accounts. At the end of December, Bona Film Group signed a deal with TSG Entertainment to invest in a slate of films including the Deadpool franchise in early January 2024. Variety reported that the film would include several characters from prior Fox-produced Marvel films, and that it was expected to have a similar approach to how Spider-Man No Way Home 2021 featured multiple characters from past Spider-Man films. Set photos at the end of the month showed Reynolds portraying a samurai-based variant of Deadpool. Filming wrapped on January 2024. The film's official title was announced as Deadpool and Wolverine in February 2024 when teaser trailer released. McFadden was portraying TVA agents Paradox. Randall Reeder and Lewis Stan were reprising their respective roles as Buck and Shatterstar from the previous Deadpool films, and Aaron Stanford was returning as John Allardyce Pyro from the X-Men films. The copyright films from X-Men confirmed that Garner was appearing as Elektra and revealed Corin's role to be Cassandra Nova. Shane Reid is editing the film, while visual effects are provided by Framestore, Industrial Light and Magic ILM, Weta FX, Base FX, and Barnstorm VFX, with Sven Gilberg serving as the visual effects supervisor. Rob Simonsen was hired to compose the film's score after previously working with Levy on the Adam Project and the fourth season Stranger Things by mid-July 2023. A teaser trailer for the film was released during the Super Bowl in February 2022. Nick Romano from the Entertainment Weekly said the trailer confirmed the film's R rating and the fact that Deadpool will be infiltrating the MCU. Austin Gosling of Polygon also highlighted the use of MCU elements and questioned whether Reynolds was playing the same version of Deadpool as he did in the previous films, due to how happy he is at the start of the trailer. Wired Angela Watercutter noted a sexually explicit pegging joke in the trailer, stating it was the first time the MCU had overly used such humor before, and speculated that the film could expand upon queer themes established in the prior MCU Thor films and Loki series. Inclusion of the comic Secret Wars 2015 number 5 in the trailer was the topic of much discussion, given Marvel Studios was planning to release the film Avengers Secret Wars 2027, and the comic issue covered on Doctor Doom creating Battleworld. Shortly after the trailer's premiere, Jackman posted a tongue-in-cheek jab at Reynolds with a modified logo displaying Wolverine and asshole. The trailer had 365 million global views in its first 24 hours, surpassing the record of Spider-Man No Way Home, 355.5 million views, become the most viewed trailer in the time period. The reported views included 123 million Super Bowl viewers who saw a 30-second version of the trailer. Deadpool Wolverine is scheduled to be released in the United Kingdom on July 25, 2024, and in the United States on July 26 in IMAX, Real D, 3D, Dolby Cinema, 4DX, Cinemark XD, and other premium formats. It was previously scheduled for September 6 of that year, November 8, and then May 3. It will be part of Phase